A few months ago, I did a video on Facilitator, the meeting feature that Microsoft kind of buries inside your Copilot license. And one of the things I showed was that you can use it to record an in-person meeting. And I said it was one of the best reasons to get a Copilot license. And I stand by that. Now, the second that video went up, the algorithm started bombarding my Instagram feed with ads for this little device called Pocket. This is Pocket. It's a recorder built exactly for that, just capturing the room. About 179 bucks Canadian. There's no subscription required. More on that later. And I figured if Pocket's chasing me around the internet right after I make a video about Facilitator, then my clients and my audience are probably getting the same thing. And they're going to want to know the same thing that I did, which is this dedicated little gadget actually better than the thing you're already paying for in Facilitator? Well, I've been using it for about 2 months now, recording pretty much everything I sit in on, Facilitator running on the other side of the room, and I'm going to judge them both on the 4 things that we always come back to around here. First, accuracy. Does the thing actually capture who said what? Then privacy, specifically Canadian data residency, which is the one that quietly decides this whole thing if you're in a regulated business. Then cost. Then friction, which is just a fancy way of saying, like, how annoying is it to actually use? For a lot of you, privacy is the whole ball game, and the other 3 barely matter. But let's go in order because the accuracy story is where it gets fun. So here's the test that broke it open for me. Back on May 22nd, I ran a roundtable discussion on AI and specifically Copilot in healthcare. There were 12 people in the room. It was a real room with people talking over each other, chairs scraping, the whole thing. And I had Pocket going the entire time, and I had the subscription. I went to read the transcript afterward, and it's beautiful, clean, accurate transcript of the words. The words are great. But the speakers, 12 humans in that room came back labeled as a wall of like speaker 00, speaker 03, speaker 11, on and on and on. The thing carved 12 actual people into more than 20 different anonymous speaker tags. One person becomes 3, 2 people become 1. It's a mess. And look, that's not really Pocket's fault. That's what a noisy room does to any of these tools. Telling voices apart when nobody's mic'd and everyone's interrupting is genuinely hard. But it means the transcript is useful and the attribution is basically useless. If you need the minutes to say who committed to what, you're going to have to go back and go through it by hand. Facilitator, on the other hand, has a different problem and a different advantage. When everybody's in the actual Teams meeting, signed in under their own name, it nails who said what, because it's not guessing from the sound of your voice. It's tied to your login, of course. But the second you're all in one room with one device, Facilitator's the same boat as Pocket. It can't tell either. It just attributes everything to the person who's recording the meeting. So for a true in-person room, neither of these is really going to hand you back perfect speaker labels. Pocket gives you the words and a guess. Facilitator gives you the words and a guess as well, unless people are joining from their own laptops. So on accuracy, we're going to call it a draw. Both hand you great words and shaky labels the second you're sitting in a real room. Here's the part that I love though, the round table where those labels fell apart. The meeting itself was 12 people sitting around arguing about whether to use Facilitator or Pocket for their board minutes. So the tool was failing at exactly the thing the room was debating, and you just can't write that. And hey, if you're getting something out of this, do me a favor and hit that subscribe button. We put out practical stuff for business owners each and every week. It genuinely helps the channel. If you run a healthcare facility, a law firm, an accounting practice, or anything where the conversation in the room is confidential, this is for you. Pocket is a slick little device, but at the time of recording this, your recordings and the transcripts go up to the company's servers, and those servers are in the US. The data is encrypted, they've got their compliance certifications, all that's fine for a lot of people. But the moment the audio leaves the country, you may have a data residency problem. Depending on your province, you've also possibly got a health privacy law stacked on top of it. PIPEDA is our federal privacy law, the one that governs how you handle personal information. And a care meeting at a long-term care facility full of names and health details and staffing issues, sitting on a server in another country is exactly the kind of thing that law really cares about. Facilitator is the opposite. The recording, the transcript, the notes, all of it stays inside your own Microsoft 365 tenant. Your tenant can be pinned to the Canadian region, so the data never leaves the house. For a regulated organization, we have to call this one a strong win for Facilitator. Cost is an interesting one because they're not even really the same shape. Pocket is a one-time buy. You pay once, you own it. The hardware is a one and done. There's an optional subscription on top, but hold that thought, I'll come back to it. Facilitator isn't even a separate purchase at all. It rides on your Copilot license. So you're looking at somewhere around $30 a seat a month to have Copilot. And Facilitator is just one of the things that comes along for the ride once you've got it. If you already pay for Copilot, Facilitator is effectively free. You already own it. If you don't, you're not buying Facilitator, you're buying the whole Copilot package, and this is just a feature inside it. So honestly, if you've got a Copilot license already, Facilitator is cheaper path by a mile. But if you don't, and you just want a recorder, then Pocket's one-time price is gonna look really attractive. I'd say we call this one a draw, except they're not in the same race. Last one, how annoying is each one to actually use? Well, Pocket wins this easily. It is stupid simple. You stick it on the back of your phone if you want to record a phone call, or on the table, and you hit record and it just goes. It works offline. It doesn't care if you've got a license. It doesn't care what meeting you're in. I can walk into a hallway conversation and capture it. That's the whole appeal of this thing, and it's a real appeal. It even has a connector to various AI engines like ChatGPT and Claude, so you can pull those transcripts and notes into your AI assistant. Facilitator's got more hoops. You need a Copilot license. You need to actually be in a Teams meeting. And for an in-person room, you got to start a meeting on your phone and hit take notes with Facilitator, which works, but it's a couple of more steps. And then everybody in the room gets this notification that it's being recorded and they have to be okay with it. It's not hard. It's just not put it on the table and go. I promised I'd come back to the subscription. The $179 gets you the device, and out of box, it'll record and transcribe a 4-hour meeting with no monthly fee, which is plenty for most people. The optional subscription is where the extra stuff lives. That's the speaker identification, but a room of 3 people can defeat that. You also get unlimited storage and history, longer recordings, and an AI layer that lets you search across everything you've ever captured and ask it questions. If you put a gun to my head though and asked whether I'd recommend the subscription, the answer is absolutely not. You do not need it. If you're in healthcare, legal, accounting, or anything where the conversation has to stay in Canada, use Facilitator. The data residency answer makes that decision for you. If you already pay for Copilot, use Facilitator. You own it. It stays in your tenant and you're leaving money on the table and not using it. But if you're like me and convenience is worth its weight in gold, the Pocket is a great little device and the price is right. It's perfect for grabbing the stuff that isn't confidential, your own notes, the quick conversations you don't want to spin up a whole meeting for. There's no license required. Obviously also great if you're not in the Microsoft 365 environment in this ever-changing IT landscape. Be active. We'll see you next time.